Dust still clung to his boots as Marcus Trenton stepped onto the porch of his late uncle's lakefront cabin, the first time he'd seen it in 12 years. He'd inherited it with love, not war in mind, but before he could unpack, 3 SUVs roared up the gravel drive. Out stepped Belinda Crankshaw, Choe president in a crisp blazer and sunglasses, flanked by 2 men in suits. "This property is under dispute," she announced. "You're trespassing. Vacate within 48 hours. Marcus froze. This wasn't just land, it was family, his uncle's legacy. But what Belinda didn't know, what no one in the HOA had ever checked, was that Marcus didn't just own the cabin. He was the legal landlord of the entire shoreline, including the road they were standing on, and he had the deeds to prove it. This wasn't trespassing. This was reclaiming what was always his. Marcus Trenton wasn't running from life. He was returning to it. After his uncle's passing, the city had become unbearable, every sound, every memory too sharp to bear. So he left his job as a civil engineer, packed his uncle's journals, his favorite fishing rod, and drove south to the one place he'd loved most, a secluded lakefront cabin on Black Pine Shore. Built in 1955, it was simple: cedar walls, a stone fireplace, a wraparound porch facing the water. No Wi-Fi, no noise, just the call of loons and the whisper of wind through the firs. The HOA collected $350 a month for road maintenance and community standards. Marcus paid on time. He kept his woodpile stacked, his lawn mowed, his truck washed. But Belinda noticed him. She was in her late 50s, always in a tailored blazer, hair pulled tight, clipboard in hand. She ruled the HOA like a queen. Meetings ran like military briefings, fines issued like royal decrees. Within days, Marcus received his first notice: unauthorized occupancy, property under legal review. Vacate immediately. He called the HOA office, straight to voicemail. He drove to the main lodge, a 2-story chalet with a stone chimney and a sign, Lakeview Ridge, excellence in community living. Inside, Belinda sat behind a polished oak desk sipping tea. "You're trespassing," she said without looking up. "I live here," Marcus replied. "This land is part of a disputed easement. The HOA has temporary control. For how long?" "Until resolved." "And who's resolving it?" She smiled. "We are." As he turned to leave, a janitor whispered, "She's been after this shore for years." "Wants to build luxury docks? Sell the view," Marcus froze. That night, he dug through his uncle's old files, yellowed deeds, land surveys, legal transfers, and there it was, a 1968 county land grant. His uncle had purchased the entire eastern shoreline, including the road and drainage easements used by the HOA. The title was clear. Marcus Trenton was the sole owner. He wasn't just a resident, he was the landlord, and if Belinda wanted war, she had no idea who she was fighting. 2 days after moving in, Marcus woke to the sound of engines. 3 SUVs pulled up, black. Tinted windows, HOA logos on the doors. Belinda stepped out, flanked by 2 men in suits, one carrying a legal folder, the other a camera. "This property is under investigation," she announced. "We're conducting a compliance inspection." Marcus stood in the doorway, calm. "You don't have a warrant. We have authority from the HOA board." "And I have a deed," Marcus said. "Would you like to see it?" She smirked. "Old paper doesn't override current jurisdiction." He pulled out the 1968 grant. She glanced at it, not updated. "Doesn't reflect current easement claims. It's registered with the county," Marcus said. "So is our claim," she replied. Then she dropped the bomb. "We've filed a counter deed based on a 1994 shared access agreement signed by your uncle." Marcus blinked. His uncle had never signed such a thing. He demanded a copy. She refused. That night, he filed a formal claim with the county, attached the 1968 deed, tax records, and a letter from his uncle's attorney. "No easement or shared claim ever granted," the clerk said. "This could take months," Marcus replied. "I'll make it faster." He uploaded everything online, a 10-minute video titled, "They invaded my inheritance, so I exposed their fake deed. By morning, It had 180,000 views. Then a call from a state investigator. Belinda called too, demanding he take it down. He said one word, no. The fines came daily now, $500 for unauthorized occupancy, $750 for failure to comply with inspection, $300 for excessive woodpile, all. Signed by Belinda, then came the drone, it. Hovered over his cabin every afternoon, buzzing like a wasp, recording every move. When Marcus confronted the HOA, they claimed it was surveillance for compliance verification. He called a lawyer. Without evidence of malice or collusion, there's little you can do, the attorney said. But Marcus wasn't done. He installed his own cameras, high-res, night vision, cloud-backed. He filmed the drone. He filmed Belinda meeting with a real estate developer in a diner parking lot. Two men in suits, a folder labeled Black Pine Luxury Docks, Phase 1. One night, he walked the shoreline, flashlight in hand, boots crunching on gravel. The lake was pristine, but something was off. Survey stakes, fresh footprints. Someone had been measuring the shore. He took photos, sent them to the county engineer. Reply, no HOA permit for shoreline inspection. Report filed. Marcus now had two weapons, the deeds to the shoreline and road easements, and evidence of illegal activity, but Belinda wasn't backing down. 2 days later, sheriff's deputies arrived. Court order, one said. HOA claims your property poses a safety hazard. We're conducting an inspection. Marcus stood in the doorway, calm. You'll need a warrant. They left, but the message was clear. Belinda would stop at nothing, so neither would he. The next morning, a bulldozer arrived. It rumbled up the access road, escorted by two HOA security trucks. Marcus stood on his porch, coffee in hand, watching. The operator idled near his stone path, the one they claimed was unapproved. Belinda stepped out, flanked by board members. This ends today, she announced. We're removing all non-compliant structures. Marcus walked down slowly. You don't have a court order. We have a board vote and a contractor. And I have cameras rolling. A live stream going and a call into the county sheriff. A small crowd had gathered, neighbors drawn by the noise. You're violating due process, one man shouted. Belinda ignored him. Begin, she told the operator. The blade lowered. Marcus stepped forward. I own this land, he said, loud enough for all to hear, and the road you're standing on. And if that machine moves one stone on my property, I'm closing it. No one gets in. No one gets out. Not even you! Gasps spread through the crowd. You can't do that, Belinda snapped. I can! The deed's registered with the county. I'll send you a copy. She hesitated. The operator paused. Then, from the back, a woman called out, Wait, does that mean she's been charging us for road access? But doesn't even own it? Murmurs grew. Belinda turned red. This is a private matter. No, Marcus said. It's a public one. That night he uploaded everything. The deed, the fines, the drone footage, the meeting with the developer. By morning, it had 300,000 views. Local news picked it up. Then the state attorney general's office. Belinda called, demanding he take it down. He replied, I'll take it down when you resign. She didn't, but she wouldn't have the chance. 3 days later, a forensic auditor arrived. Marcus had filed a formal complaint with the state. Suspicion of HOA financial misconduct. The auditor requested 10 years of records. Belinda refused. The court ordered compliance. What they found was staggering. Over 12 years, $2.4 million in resident fees had vanished, not spent, not invested, embezzled, not transferred through shell companies, fake contractors, and offshore accounts. Belinda had been siphoning funds since she took power, using the money to fund her daughter's private school, her luxury vacations, and the very development project she wanted to build on Marcus's shore. Photos surfaced. Her at a villa in St. Lucia. Her son driving a Tesla paid for by road maintenance fees. Worse, she'd forged a signature on the 1994 Shared Access Agreement. Forensic analysis proved it. Wasn't his uncle's handwriting. Marcus handed over his footage. The secret meetings, the unauthorized drone, the illegal survey stakes. It was all there. The county engineer confirmed. The shoreline was private, one of the best documented in the region. Marcus hadn't just defended his home, he'd exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud that had bled an entire community dry neighbors who once ignored. Him now left notes on his porch. "Thank you. We had no idea. You saved us." Even the sheriff shook his hand. But Marcus didn't want praise. He wanted justice. And on a cold Thursday morning, as fog rolled over the lake, federal agents arrived at Belinda's door. Handcuffs clicked. A press release followed. HOA president arrested for fraud, forgery, and abuse of power. The video hit 1 million views by noon. But Marcus wasn't done. He had one final move. The special HOA meeting was packed. Residents filled the lodge, some angry, some ashamed, all stunned. Marcus stood at the front, not as a victim, but as a witness. He played the footage, Belinda's lies, the fake invoices, the offshore transfers. He showed the 1968 deed, sole ownership of shoreline and access easements. He revealed the developer's proposal, 16 luxury docks, 3.8 million in profits, all funded by stolen fees. Silence fell, then applause, then shouts of "resign." The remaining board members stepped down on the spot. Marcus turned to the crowd. "This land is mine," he said. "But it doesn't have to be a weapon. It can be a solution." He proposed a plan, lease the road access, not to a developer, but to the community. At fair market value, with a 10-year payment plan, no interest. All future fees would go into a transparent, audited fund managed by elected residents. No more secret accounts. No more unchecked power. The vote was unanimous. Applause thundered, but one voice cut through. "And the invasion?" Marcus smiled. "It's over." The next morning, he removed the "No Trespassing" sign. He installed a new one. "Welcome to Black Pine. Access restored." Below it, a smaller plaque. "In memory of Uncle Ray, who loved this place most." The community began rebuilding trust. New bylaws were drafted. An oversight committee formed. And for the first time in years, the lodge hosted a potluck, not out of obligation, but out of unity. Marcus didn't speak. He just sat by the fire, watching the stars. Finally, at peace. 1 year later, the road and shoreline were officially leased to the community. A transparent resident-run board managed the funds. No more Belinda. No more fear. Marcus didn't become a leader. He became a guardian. He reopened his uncle's small bait shop, Ray's lakefront supply, selling tackle, snacks, and kayaks. Kids called him Uncle Marcus. Elders thanked him. He even hosted a summer swim day, families splashing, music playing, fireflies dancing. Belinda was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. No parole. At her hearing, she said, "I was doing what I thought was best." The judge replied, "Best for whom?" Marcus never gloated, but when a reporter asked, "Was it worth it?" he looked at the lake, the trees, the stars above. "Yes," he said. "It was about more than land. It was about truth." Now, when new residents arrive, they're told 2 things. 1, respect the rules. 2, never underestimate the quiet man with the deed. And every spring, on the anniversary of the invasion, the community gathers, not for protest, not for power, for peace, for justice, for the man who held the shore and gave it back.